The deep blue sea, vast, mysterious, and home to creatures both horrifying and awe-inspiring. This is Pantheon mythology, and these are the sea creatures from across mythology and folklore. Just quickly, if you love mythology, be sure to check out our clothing brand Pantheon Apparel. Here you'll find epic designs inspired by mythology, folklore and legends. We ship worldwide and are rated excellent on Trustpilot. You'll find a link in the description. Right, let's dive in. Starting things off with Scylla, one of Greek mythology's most fearsome sea monsters. Scylla wasn't always the monster sailors feared. She was once a beautiful nymph. The transformation into a creature with a maiden's torso and 6 dog heads, each with razor-sharp teeth, came courtesy of a potent spell by the sorceress Circe, or Circe, driven by jealousy. Scylla resided in a narrow strait across from the whirlpool Charybdis, posing a significant danger to any ship that dared pass through. This strait was a real maritime hazard, blending natural and supernatural threats. Charybdis, counterpart to the monstrous Scylla, is another legendary figure from Greek mythology that embodies the terror of the sea. Unlike Scylla's partly human form, Charybdis is purely elemental, often depicted as a massive whirlpool. Originating from the stories told by Homer in the Odyssey, Charybdis was said to reside opposite Scylla in a narrow channel of water. 3 times a day, Charybdis would swallow huge amounts of water, then belch them back out, creating whirlpools capable of dragging a ship and its entire crew to the ocean floor. According to mythology, Charybdis was originally a sea nymph who was transformed into this fearsome whirlpool as punishment by Zeus for stealing Heracles' cattle. Cetus, in Greek mythology, is a massive sea monster sent by Poseidon to terrorize the kingdom of Ethiopia, as a punishment for Queen Cassiopeia's boastfulness about her daughter Andromeda's beauty surpassing that of the Nereids, who are sea nymphs known for their stunning looks. Desperate to save their kingdom, King Cepheus and Queen Cassiopeia were advised by an oracle to sacrifice Andromeda to Cetus. Chained to a rock beside the sea, Andromeda awaited her grim fate, only to be rescued by the hero Perseus, who had coincidentally just slain Medusa and possessed her head, which could turn onlookers to stone. Perseus used it to petrify Cetus, saving Andromeda and halting the creature's reign of terror. Staying in ancient Greece, we have the Sirens, who are renowned for their captivating songs that lure sailors to their doom. Initially depicted as half-bird, half-woman creatures, their form evolved over time, often appearing more human or mermaid-like in later myths. These mythical beings are best known from Homer's Odyssey, where they nearly ensnared Odysseus with their melodies, which are hauntingly beautiful yet fatal to those who listen. The Sirens were believed to have originated as companions to Persephone and transformed into their avian form as punishment for failing to prevent her abduction by Hades. The Sirens also appear in the Argonautica, where they encountered Jason and the Argonauts. To counteract the Sirens' songs, Orpheus, who was part of Jason's crew, played music that drowned out the Sirens, saving the crew from their fate. The Flying Dutchman is unfortunately not a superhero from the Netherlands, but instead a legendary ghost ship from European maritime folklore believed to be doomed to sail the seas for eternity. The story centres around a Dutch sea captain, often named Hendrik van der Decken, who, during a treacherous storm at the Cape of Good Hope, vowed to round the Cape even if it took him till doomsday. As a result of his defiance, whether cursed by an angel or the devil in different versions, his ship and crew were condemned to sail forever, never to make port. The Flying Dutchman is considered a bad omen for sailors, with sightings of the spectral ship said to foretell disaster. Reports of sightings have been made as recently as the late 19th and early 20th centuries, most notably in 1881, when Prince George of Wales, later King George V, and his crew reportedly saw the phantom vessel glowing red off the coast of Australia. Cthulhu is a terrifying cosmic entity first introduced by H.P. Lovecraft in his 1928 short story The Call of Cthulhu. Described as a massive being with a humanoid form, Cthulhu has an octopus-like head, a body covered in scaly, rubbery skin and long, narrow wings. Lovecraft portrayed Cthulhu as a great old one, a powerful and ancient being that came from the stars before the dawn of humanity. The creature resides in the sunken city of Rillier, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, where it lies dormant, awaiting the right conditions to rise again. Cthulhu is central to Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos, a universe populated by otherworldly deities and cosmic horrors. The being communicates with humans through telepathy, often driving those who encounter it to madness. Worshippers of Cthulhu, human and otherwise, believe that one day the creature will awaken and reclaim dominion over the earth. Moving into the Norse realm, we encounter Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, a colossal figure of chaos in Norse mythology. Born from the union of the trickster god Loki and the giantess Angerboda, Jormungandr is so vast that he encircles the entire world, biting his own tail. According to the myths, Jormungandr's release of his tail signifies the beginning of Ragnarok, the end of the world, in Norse cosmology. Jormungandr's most famous legend involves his deadly rivalry with Thor, the god of thunder. This enmity is highlighted during a mythical fishing trip where Thor attempts to capture the serpent using an ox head as bait. The encounter ends with the giant Hymir cutting the line, allowing Jormungandr to escape back into the depths, setting the stage for their final battle at Ragnarok. During this apocalyptic event, Thor and Jormungandr finally kill each other, Thor succumbing to the serpent's venom shortly after dealing the fatal blow. Next we have perhaps the superstar of sea monsters, the Kraken. Originating from Scandinavian folklore, this legendary creature is portrayed as a massive beast lurking in the deep seas, capable of dragging ships and their entire crews into the ocean's abyss with its enormous tentacles. The Kraken's description as a gigantic cephalopod resembling a colossal squid likely stems from actual marine biology. Sailors' accounts and sightings of giant squids might have fueled the myths surrounding this fearsome monster. The Kraken's legendary status is built on its immense size and terrifying power. According to historical accounts, it could be mistaken for a chain of islands when resting at the sea's surface due to its massive bulk. When stirred, it was said to create whirlpools strong enough to pull down even the largest ships, making it one of the most feared creatures in old maritime lore. Lyngbakr is another fascinating monster of the seas from Norse mythology. This creature, described in the medieval Icelandic Uvar Ord saga, was said to dwell in the Greenland Sea, masquerading as a heather-covered island. Sailors, mistaking Lyngbakr for land, would often anchor their ships and step onto its back, only to be pulled to their watery graves as a massive whale-like creature submerged itself beneath the waves. Its name derives from the Icelandic words lyngi, meaning heather, and bak, meaning back, symbolizing its deceptive appearance. The Umibozu, or sea monk, is a mysterious and fearsome spirit from Japanese folklore, often described as a gigantic black humanoid figure with a bald head resembling that of a Buddhist monk. Umibozu appears suddenly to sailors on calm seas, turning the waters violent and tumultuous. This yokai has a known reputation for either destroying ships outright or demanding a barrel from the crew, only to use it to capsize the vessel and drown them. One famous way to escape the Umibozu is to offer it a bottomless barrel, which confuses the creature long enough for the sailors to make their escape. Legends about the Umibozu are numerous across Japan, with some tales suggesting the spirit is born from the vengeful souls of drowned monks. The Iso Onna in Japanese folklore is often referred to as the Coast Woman. This vampiric yokai primarily inhabits rocky coastlines, particularly in the Kyushu region. Iso Onna appears as a beautiful woman, her wet hair cascading down as she lures fishermen or travellers towards her. Once close enough, she reveals her true nature, using her long hair to ensnare her victims and suck their blood. In some versions of the legend, she's depicted with a dragon-like lower body, which she can make invisible, adding to her deceptive allure. This yokai is deeply feared, as she is known to pull her prey into the sea, drowning them beneath the waves. Iso Onna is particularly active during special occasions like New Year's Eve or the Obon festival, when spirits are believed to roam the earth. Ningen, a captivating figure in Japanese cryptozoology, is often described as a gigantic humanoid creature that reportedly inhabits the icy waters of the Antarctic. Witnesses claim this mysterious being possesses a pale, almost translucent body resembling that of a human, albeit lacking distinct facial features, which adds to its eerie allure. The term Ningen translates to human in Japanese, emphasising the creature's human-like shape. Eyewitness accounts describe Ningyo as being about 20 to 30 metres long, with flipper-like appendages instead of arms, and some reports even suggest it has a tail reminiscent of a mermaid or a large aquatic mammal. The kappa is a mischievous Japanese water spirit, known for its amphibious nature and often depicted as a small humanoid creature with greenish reptilian skin, webbed hands, and a dish-like depression on its head filled with water. This water is essential to its strength and survival, and if it spills, the kappa is weakened or even dies. Kappa are known for residing in rivers, ponds, and lakes, where they can be both playful and dangerous, sometimes pulling unsuspecting victims into the water. The Ningyo, also from Japan, are often compared to mermaids, though with a more eerie and unique twist. They are depicted as a fish-like being with a human face, sometimes possessing features such as monkey-like mouths or even horns. It is believed that the Ningyo brings both blessings and curses. Catching one is said to grant longevity or even eternal life, especially if its flesh is consumed. But this gift is often accompanied by disastrous events such as storms or bad luck. In one popular tale, consuming the flesh of a Ningyo granted a young girl known as Yobikuni a decently long lifespan of 800 years before becoming a nun and eventually dying of old age. While some believe the creature is a bringer of fortune, many fishermen would release the Ningyo back to the sea to avoid any calamities that might follow its capture. From Japanese-style mermaids to Irish, we have the Merrow, a captivating sea creature from Celtic mythology. Typically depicted with a human upper body and fish-like lower half, female Merrows are known for their enchanting beauty, long hair, and hauntingly melodic voices. These beings wear a magical red cap, or cohulín druth, which allows them to travel between land and sea. While female Merrows are often portrayed as kind and capable of forming relationships with humans, male Merrows are described as hideous and monstrous. In some legends, Merrows marry humans, but their longing for the ocean eventually draws them back to the sea, where they are believed to lure sailors with their alluring songs, much like Greek sirens. Selkies are mystical creatures from Irish, Scottish and Faroese folklore, known for their ability to transform between seal and human forms. In their seal form, they are typically large, dark-eyed seals. But when they come ashore, they shed their seal skin to reveal human form, often described as exceptionally beautiful. The key to their transformation is their seal skin, and if a human finds and hides the skin, the Selkie is trapped in human form, unable to return to the sea until the skin is recovered. Many Selkie stories involve themes of love and loss, where a human, often a fisherman, captures a female Selkie by hiding her seal skin and marries her. However, these unions are often bittersweet, as the Selkie remains drawn to the ocean. Eventually, if the Selkie finds her sealskin, she returns to the sea, leaving behind her human family. Male Selkies are less commonly depicted, but they are believed to be irresistibly attractive to human women, sometimes appearing during storms to seek out lovers on land. The Ikushka is a deadly water spirit from Scottish folklore, known as one of the most malevolent and dangerous creatures in Celtic mythology. This shape-shifting water horse is often found in sea lochs, freshwater lakes, and sometimes even in the ocean. At first glance, it appears as a normal, beautiful horse, luring unsuspecting travellers to mount it. However, once on its back, the rider becomes magically stuck, and the Ikushka charges into the water, where it drowns and devours its victim, leaving only their liver to float to the surface. The Nuckelavee is a nightmare-inducing creature, particularly associated with the Orkney Islands. This grotesque sea demon is described as a nightmarish fusion of horse and human, with its rider grotesquely fused to the horse's back. What makes the Nuckelavee even more horrifying is its skinless body, exposing red raw flesh, pulsating veins, and visible muscles. The creature's breath is said to be toxic, bringing disease, drought, and death to crops and livestock. Legends describe it as emerging from the sea to wreak havoc on land during the colder months, particularly in the winter, but it cannot cross fresh water. In many tales, it terrorizes islanders, leaving devastation in its wake. The only protection from the Nuckelavee is to cross a stream, which the demon is unable to follow. The Loch Ness Monster, affectionately known as Nessie, is one of the most famous mythical creatures, said to inhabit the depths of Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. The legend dates back to ancient times, with early references found in Pictish stone carvings and the 7th century writings about Saint Columba, who supposedly encountered a water beast in the River Ness in 565 AD. Nessie's modern fame began in 1933 when a couple reported seeing a large creature in the loch, which spurred international interest and countless sightings. Description of the monster vary, but it is often depicted as a long-necked, hump-backed creature, sparking comparisons to prehistoric reptiles like the plesiosaur. However, much of the photographic evidence, including the famous 1934 surgeon's photograph, has since been debunked as hoaxes. The Ahuizotl is a terrifying water monster from Aztec mythology, often described as having a dog-like body with dark fur, small ears, and a long prehensile tail ending in a human-like hand. This mythical creature lurks in lakes and rivers, particularly around the Tenochtitlan, waiting to drag unsuspecting victims into the water. According to the myth, it uses its tail hand to pull people into the depths, where it feasts on their eyes, teeth, and nails. The bodies of its victims, after being drowned, would float back to the surface, though only priests were permitted to handle them. This creature was considered a friend of the rain gods, especially Tlaloc, the god of rain and fertility, and its victims were believed to be taken to Tlalocan, the paradise of the water gods. Cipactli is a fearsome and foundational figure, often depicted as a primordial sea monster with a body that combines the traits of a crocodile, fish, and toad. Its most striking feature is the presence of extra mouths at every joint, symbolizing its insatiable hunger. Cipactli is closely linked to the Aztec creation myth, in which the gods Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca work together to tear the creature apart. From Cipactli's dismembered body, the gods formed the earth, the heavens, and the underworld, making this monster both a symbol of destruction and the foundation of life itself. The Makara is a legendary sea creature from Hindu and Buddhist mythology, often depicted as a hybrid of both terrestrial and aquatic animals. Its most common depiction includes the front half of a land animal, such as a crocodile, elephant, or deer, and the back half of a sea creature, like a fish or seal. This fantastical mix of animals symbolizes its connection to both earth and water, making it a powerful guardian of thresholds and protector of sacred spaces like temples. In Hindu mythology, the Makara serves as a vahana, or vehicle of deities such as Varuna, the god of the oceans, and the river goddess, Gunga. It is also a symbol of fertility and chaos, associated with the waters that bring life and order to the cosmos. The Lusca is a fearsome sea monster from Caribbean folklore, particularly associated with the Bahamas. This creature is believed to dwell in the deep blue holes and underwater caves around the Andros Island and other parts of the Caribbean. Described as a hybrid between a giant octopus and a shark, the Lusca is said to have enormous tentacles capable of dragging ships and swimmers into the depths. Some accounts even suggest it can grow up to 75 feet in length, making it a terrifying presence in the deep sea. Local legends claim that the tides in these blue holes are caused by the Lusca breathing in and out, creating powerful whirlpools that can pull anything nearby into the caverns. Some Bahamian fishermen even view the creature as a guardian of the blue holes, a protector of the ocean's delicate ecosystems. However, its predatory nature makes it a source of fear, with tales of it devouring both sea creatures and humans. River Muma is a mystical figure in Jamaican folklore, often depicted as a mermaid-like water spirit who resides in rivers. She is both feared and revered, guarding the rivers and the fish, which are considered her children. She is frequently seen sitting by the river, combing her long, flowing hair with a golden comb. However, anyone who catches sight of her risks falling into a trance and being pulled into the water. It is said that attempts to capture her or harm her result in rivers drying up and the fish disappearing. A famous tale linked to River Muma is that of the Golden Table, a treasure that occasionally rises from the river's depths. Greed leads many to try and steal the table, but they inevitably meet a watery demise as the table sinks back into the river, dragging its would-be captors with it. The Vodyanoi is a nasty water spirit from Slavic mythology, known for inhabiting rivers, lakes, and ponds. Often depicted as an old man with frog-like appearance, greenish skin, and algae-covered body, the Vodyanoi is notorious for luring humans into the water, particularly those who disrespect his domain. His primary pastime is drowning unsuspecting swimmers or fishermen, especially those who bathe on holy days or fail to show proper reverence to the water. The spirit holds power over aquatic life and is even believed to collect the souls of his victims, storing them in porcelain jars. These jars are said to represent his status and power among other spirits. Despite his generally malevolent nature, Slavic traditions include rituals and offerings, such as bread or tobacco, to appease Vodyanoi and ensure safe passage across water bodies. The Rusalka is another powerful and haunting water spirit from Slavic mythology. Traditionally depicted as a beautiful young woman, she is believed to be the soul of a woman who died tragically, often through drowning. These spirits are closely associated with lakes and rivers, where they lure unsuspecting men with their beauty and ethereal singing. While enchanting, the Rusalka is a dangerous figure, as she is known to drown her victims either out of vengeance or in response to her tragic origins. In earlier traditions, Rusalki were tied to fertility and were not inherently malevolent. They were believed to bring life-giving moisture to crops during spring. However, over time, the Rusalka evolved into a more sinister figure associated with death and unclean spirits, particularly those who died prematurely or violently. The Xiaolong is a revered aquatic dragon in Chinese mythology, often described as a scaled dragon or flood dragon. This powerful creature is associated with water, controlling rain, rivers and floods, and is considered a master of the aquatic realm. While it is considered a lesser dragon in comparison to the mighty Long, Chinese dragon, the Xiaolong can evolve to a full dragon after centuries of cultivation. Its deep connection to water makes it both a bringer of life-giving rain and a force of destruction through floods. The Telesa are powerful spirit women of Samoan mythology, often connected with natural elements including water. One particular form, Telesa Vasa Loloa, is deeply tied to the sea, embodying the ocean's might and controlling the tides and waves. Created by the god Tangaloelagi to protect the earth, Telesa Vasa Loloa is linked to the vast ocean and its life-sustaining forces. These water-linked Telesa guard the seas and are believed to punish those who disrespect the environment, particularly the waters they protect. The Taniwha is a legendary creature from Maori mythology, often described as a guardian or monster that inhabits lakes, rivers, or the sea. These supernatural beings take on various forms ranging from giant lizards to dragons and sometimes even appear as sharks or whales. In coastal and waterbound traditions, Taniwha are deeply connected to the ocean, guarding specific waterways or dangerous areas like caves and pools. In some stories, they are seen as protectors of a tribe, safeguarding people from harm, while in other tales, they're portrayed as fearsome creatures that capture or eat those who trespass on their territory. Famous Taniwha, such as Tuhirangi, are known to have protected canoes and travellers in the waters of New Zealand. However, not all Taniwha are benevolent. Some, like Tutai Paroparo, began as harmless creatures but became dangerous over time, transforming into powerful beings that terrorise rivers and seas. The Aspidochelone is a mythical sea creature with links to medieval folklore and even ancient Greece, often described as an enormous turtle or whale. Its most distinctive trait is its deceptive appearance. Its back is covered with sand, rocks and vegetation, making it look like a small habitable island. Unwary sailors would often anchor their ships on its back, believing they had found safe land. Once the sailors disembarked and lit fires, the creature would submerge, dragging the ships and their crews to a watery grave. This sea monster was a symbol of deceit and illusion, commonly appearing in medieval bestiaries and allegorical tales representing the dangers of trusting appearances. The Aspidocheloni's name is derived from the Greek word aspis, shield, and chelone, turtle, emphasizing its turtle-like form. The Bakunawa is a fearsome sea serpent from Philippine mythology, known for its role in causing lunar eclipses. Described as a massive dragon-like creature that dwells in the ocean, it would rise from the depths to swallow the moons in the sky. According to ancient Filipino legends, there were once 7 moons that illuminated the night, but the beast, envious of their beauty, devoured them one by one, leaving only 1 moon in the sky. When an eclipse occurs, it is believed that the Bakunawa is attempting to swallow the last moon, and the people would bang pots and make loud noises to scare the creature away. The Leviathan is a colossal sea monster rooted in Jewish mythology and often depicted as a giant serpent, dragon or whale-like creature. Its origins trace back to pre-biblical Mesopotamian mythology, where it shares similarities with other sea monsters like the Ugaritic serpent Lotan. In the Hebrew Bible, the Leviathan is referenced in several books, including Psalms, Job, and Isaiah, where it is described as a creature of chaos that God ultimately overcomes to establish order in the world. Leviathan plays a key role in the ancient Jewish conception of the cosmic battle between chaos and divine order. In some traditions, God created two Leviathans, but killed the female to prevent them from reproducing and overwhelming the world. The remaining Leviathan, a symbol of chaos, will be slain at the end of time during the Messianic Age, with its flesh served as a grand feast for the righteous. The Nguruvilu is a water spirit from the mythology of the Mapuche people of Chile. Its name comes from the Mapudungun words for fox, Nguru, and snake, Filu, as it is often described as a creature with the head and forelegs of a fox and a long serpentine body. The Nguruvilu inhabits rivers and lakes, where it uses its cunning to trick people into crossing seemingly shallow waters. Once someone steps in, the creature creates a whirlpool with its powerful tail, pulling the victim under to drown them. Despite its dangerous nature, it is also viewed as a guardian of water, ensuring respect and reverence of the natural world. In some stories, it can be placated by those who show respect for the waters it guards. A shaman, or machi, is often called upon to subdue the creature if it becomes too aggressive, using a ritual to banish it from the area. Ikuturso is a malevolent sea monster from Finnish mythology, often described as a terrifying multi-headed or tentacled creature dwelling in the cold waters of the Baltic Sea. It is portrayed as both a sea monster and a god of war and disease. In some myths, Ikuturso is linked to destruction, chaos, and even the spread of plagues, earning him the title of the Father of Diseases. He plays a notable role in the Kalevala, Finland's national epic, where he's summoned by the sorceress Luohi to stop the theft of the magical artifact known as the Sampo. However, he is ultimately defeated by the hero Väinämöinen, who forces him to retreat back to the depths of the sea, never to return. The Bunyip is a legendary creature from Australian Aboriginal folklore described as a water-dwelling monster that inhabits swamps, rivers and billabongs. The physical characteristics of the Bunyip vary widely across different indigenous stories, but it is often portrayed as a large creature with features like a long neck, flippers, tusks, and a terrifying, eerie cry. Despite its terrifying appearance, in many stories the Bunyip is sometimes depicted as a protector of nature rather than a man-eating predator. Its connection to water makes it a symbol of the unknown and potentially dangerous aspects of the Australian landscape. While the Bunyip's origin lies in Aboriginal oral tradition, European settlers in the 19th century embraced and further spread the legend, attributing strange sounds and unexplained animal bones to the creature. The Muljuwang is a formidable creature from Ngarrindjeri mythology, known to haunt the waters of the Murray River and Lake Alexandrina in Australia. Often depicted as a terrifying hybrid of man and fish, this water dweller possesses large clawed hands capable of pulling unsuspecting boats beneath the surface. Used as a cautionary tale, the Muljuwang warns Aboriginal children to avoid the riverside after dark. It embodies the power of nature, representing both the dangers lurking in the water and the consequences of greed, as one tale recounts how a selfish man was transformed into the creature as punishment for overfishing. The Arklut is a powerful shape-shifting creature from Inuit mythology, known for its ability to transform between a killer whale, orca, in the sea and a wolf on land. This mythical being represents the interconnectedness of the Arctic's harsh environments, embodying the strength and cunning of both animals. When in the water, the Arklut takes form of a fierce orca, highly respected by the Inuit for its hunting prowess. On land, it transforms into a wolf, a symbol of survival and adaptability in the Arctic tundra. The Arklut is known to be a dangerous predator, feared for its ability to hunt both at sea and on land. In some stories, its wolf tracks lead directly to the ocean, hinting at its dual nature. As vast as the oceans themselves are the legends and myths of sea creatures that we've barely skimmed the surface of today, so apologies for any missed. We've traversed stormy seas and explored shadowy depths, encountering the most awe-inspiring and terrifying monsters ever to emerge in mythology and folklore. These creatures are not just figments of maritime lore, they are symbols of the unknown, embodying the fears and fascinations of generations across the globe. Each story, Each creature reflects a unique cultural insight into the human relationship with the mysterious world beneath the waves.